Shalom. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem Kakadash. Double honors to other apostles, great millstone, and salutation you I can teach all true sincerity. Um, this is gonna be called the law is only for Israel. Um, this is Leviticus 26. Um, 26, and I'm gonna read verse 42 because I'm gonna read verse 42. It says, "Then will I remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham will I remember, and I will remember the land." Verse 43, "The land also shall be left of them, and shall enjoy her Sabbaths, while she lay desolate without them. They shall accept of the punishment of their iniquity, because they despise my judgments, because they so abhorred my statutes." Um, uh, reason why I wanted to read up was to show that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Yahweh dealt only with Israel, and basically he punished Israel um for their trespasses against him, um because we went off and committed spiritual fornication against our power, and he you know let the curses fall upon us. But that also shows that the law, statute, commandments were given to only Israel anyway, because we were the ones that sinned against our power, and we were the only ones that could sin. All these other nations, they weren't given the law, statute, commandments, so they, you know, was basically doing what's natural to them. They weren't held accountable for their many sins, because we were the only ones held accountable, because Yahweh only dealt with Israel. We were only nation held accountable because he only dealt with us. We're his children. So he only dealt with his children, and you know held his children, gave his children their punishment for you know Slaki, gave his children. We got consequences for going off, basically. The consequences where we go through the curses, which are written in Deuteronomy 28:15 through 68. We go through those curses when you know. But I'm gonna read verse 43 again. This is Leviticus 26, verse 43. "The land also shall be left of them, and shall enjoy her Sabbaths, while she lieth desolate without them. They shall accept of the punishment of their iniquity, because they despise my judgments, because their soul abhorred my statutes. Yet for all that, when they be in the land of their enemies, I will not cast them away, neither will I abhor them to destroy them utterly, to break my covenant with them. For I am Yahweh their power, but I will for their sakes remember the covenant of their ancestors, who I brought forth out of the land of Egypt in the sight of the heathen, that I might be their power. I am Yahweh." So Yahweh was never going to forget about Israel. That he's never going to forget about the covenant and the oath that he made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and 12 patriarchs with our forefathers. He's not going to forget that. The law, statutes, commandments were given to our nation, and we went off and committed spiritual adultery, fornication against him, and he still is not going to, what's the word, cast us completely away and get rid of us. He's gonna what's the word, like I said, he's gonna always remember that covenant he made with our people back when we were in the land of Egypt. He's always going to keep that promise that he made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and 12 patriarchs. um Verse 46. These are the statutes and judgments and laws which Yahweh made between him and the children of Israel on Mount Sinai by the hands of Moses. So, and Moses, who is the forefather to the nation of Israel also. So, Yahweh's not going to forget the time they, those, because the only thing I can say, Yahweh, the Heavenly Father is never going to break his promises to our people. Esau, the so-called white man, he'll break a promise, but the Heavenly Father doesn't break his promises, his oaths. He always uphold his bargain, uphold his oath. He never forgets. Never has he broken his oath, broken his agreements. But Esau and all these other heathens, they'll break their agreements, they'll break their treaties with you. But the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, is never gonna break their oath, their agreement with you. If you're an Israelite and you're doing what is what's the word, required, and serving Yahweh Bashim Yahushua in truth and sincerity, he's not gonna break his promise and his oath with you. But the next scripture I want to get is Psalms 147 and verse 19. It says, Psalms 147:19. He showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation. As for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. So it says right here, he showed his word unto Jacob and his statutes and judgments unto Israel. So he only dealt with Israel only, and these other nations have not known his statutes and judgments and commandments, because they weren't there when he brought them to the children of Israel. They weren't there in the wilderness. They were in their own lands that was given to them according to the 12 tribes of Israel. All 18 nations got their portion according to the 12 tribes of Israel. They got their own lands, their own, areas where they were. And they weren't there in the wilderness when the children of Israel came out of Egypt to get the law, statutes, commandments. So they're not a part of that they didn't know the judgments of the Lord, so they're not a part of that. Only Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Yahweh only dealt with the so-called Negroes, Latin Americans, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's seed. He didn't deal with no other nations. He only dealt with Israel. This is 2 Samuel 7 and 23. This is 2 Samuel 7:23. And what one nation is in the earth is like thy people, even like Israel, whom Yahweh went to redeem for a people to himself, and to make him a name, and to do for you great things and terrible for thy land before thy people, which thou redeemest to thee from Egypt, from the nations of their gods. So Yahweh, um, he went to redeem the the nation of Israel for himself. He only chose them for himself because those are his children. He chose his own people on the earth, that he dealt only with Israel, um, to make him to make his name great, because it's all about him delivering the so-called Negroes, Latin Americans from the captivity in Egypt, was to magnify his name and to um deliver them, which made his name magnified in the earth, and magnified him more. It made his name great, to be praised, um, because all the gods of Egypt were idols, and they couldn't do anything. But you know, the Israelites, the nation of Israel, had a God that that had the power to change their circumstances, and that magnified him more better. You know, but I'm gonna go to Amos 3 verse 1. It's the last one. This is Amos 3 verse 1. Hear this word that Yahweh has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, Ye only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. Because we, as a nation, went off and committed fornication against our power. So the curses went on us, and he only dealt only with us. So and we basically moved him to wrath. So he punished us, and because he dealt with us, he you know, because Israel is what's the word? Uh, Israel is considered the Lord's wife. So he dealt and punished his comely and delicate woman. He punished her because she committed adultery against her by going after these other gods of the other nations. So he punished us by putting us in captivity under these other nations, because we went after their gods. He put us in captivity under them, and to the point where we went all these captivities. He asked us, is Israel a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? You know, but also show that the Lord dealt with us as children to him, because we are his children. He gave us the law, statutes, commandments because he only dealt with us, and we're the ones that we're the ones that can sin. All these other nations can't sin. They sin is not, what's the word? They never were introduced to the law, statutes, commandments. So sin, um the law, statutes, commandments weren't given to them, so they can't sin. They're not slocky. They the law, statutes, commandments weren't given to them. They weren't under the law. So they they didn't really sin against our power because they didn't know our power. But and the only Yahweh only knew Israel. That's why he punished us for our iniquity. That's why when we went off and was removed from the land of Israel, um, it was a part of the curses that we would be removed far from our borders. Um, and that shows the law, statutes, commandments only for Israel because the Lord only dealt with Israel. He only gave the law, statutes, commandments to our people only. And we went off and, you know, didn't follow the law, statutes, commandments. Um, Basically 100%ly. But we couldn't do it in these bodies because these bodies are chains of darkness. You know, these bodies are what's the word? Um, you know, this flesh is wicked. You know, it's prone to go off at times. But you know, as in Judges said 5 and 11, we follow these laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability. So I'm gonna end it right here. I'm gonna say all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Shai, double honors to the elder apostles, great millstone, and salutations to you, I can teach all truth, sincerity, and shalom.